Opportunity to speak. Actually, I do not have any qualification to speak today, but I'm doing it for my own purification. So today we'll be talking on the verse Bhagavad Gita 8.6. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
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 Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajana
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tiravanchari
Yamuna Tiravanachari
Yamuna Tiravanchari
Yamuna Tiravanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana
Yamuna Tiravanchari
Tiravanachari
Yamuna Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam.
Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam.
Tyajyat ante kalevaram.
Yajjate ante kalevaram.
Tam tam evaiti kaunteya.
Tam tam eveti kaunteya.
Sada tad bhava bhavita.
Sada tad bhava bhavita.
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam.
Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam.
Tyajyat ante kalevaram.
Yajjat ante kalevaram.
Tam tam evaiti kaunteya.
Tam tam eveti kaunteya.
Sada tad bhava bhavita.
Sada tad bhava bhavita.
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam.
Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam.
Tyajyat ante kalevaram.
Yajjat ante kalevaram.
Tam tam evaiti kaunteya.
Tam tam eveti kaunteya.
Sada tad bhava bhavita.
Sada tad bhava bhavita.
Mataji.
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam.
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam.
Yajjat ante kalevaram.
Yajjat ante kalevaram.
Tam tam evaiti kaunteya.
Tam tam eveti kaunteya.
Sada tad bhava bhavita.
Sada tad bhava bhavita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Yajjat ante kalevaram. Tam tam eveti kaunteya. Sada tad bhava bhavita.
Yam yam.
Yam yam.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Va api.
Vapi.
At all.
At all.
Smaran.
Smaran.
Remembering.
Remembering.
Bhavam.
Bhavam.
Nature.
Nature.
Tyajyati.
Yajjati.
Gives up.
Gives up.
Ante.
Ante.
At the end.
At the end.
Kalevaram.
Kalevaram.
This body.
This body.
Tam tam.
Tam tam.
Similar.
Similar.
Eva.
Eva.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Iti.
Iti.
Gets.
Gets.
Kaunteya.
Kaunteya.
O son of Kunti.
O son of Kunti.
Sada.
Sada.
Always.
Always.
Tat.
Tat.
That.
That.
Bhava.
Bhava.
State.
State.
Of being.
Of being.
Bhavita.
Bhavita.
Remembering.
Remembering.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Whatever state of being one remembers
Whatever state of being one remembers.
when he quits its body,
When he quits his body,
O son of Kunti,
O son of Kunti,
that state
that state
he will attain
he will attain
without fail.
without fail.
Purport. The process of chanting one's nature at the critical moment of death is explained here. A person who at the end of his life quits his body, thinking of Krishna, attains the transcendental nature of Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental state. This is a point we should note very carefully. How can one die in the proper state of mind? Maharaj Bharat, although a great personality, taught of a deer at the end of his life, And so, in his next life, he was transferred into the body of a deer. Although, as a deer, he remembered his past activities, he had to accept that animal body. Of course, one's thought during the course of one's life accumulate to influence one's thought at the moment of death. So this life creates one's next life. If in one's present life one lives in a mode of goodness and always thinks of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one to be transferred to the transcendental nature of Krishna. If one is transcendently absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body would be transcendental, not material. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare is the best process of successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manohishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Varevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajyat yante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kanteya sada tad bhava bhavitha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. So in this verse, Krishna is talking about our next destination. So what would be our next destination of after death? So if we remember Krishna, we would attain Krishna look. Now if we don't remember Krishna, we would be taking birth again in this world. So what our destination depends on our thoughts. Our thoughts lead to our desires, and from desires we do our actions. So based on our action, our next body is determined. So our body, our thoughts also depends on whatever we do on our day-to-day practice. Like our profession, some are engineers, some are doctors, some run their own shops, some are chartered accountants, and so on. So according to our profession, we get different thoughts in our mind and we act according to that. So what does Krishna says here? Think about me. Why does Krishna says think of him at the time of death? Krishna doesn't say that we should think of him at the time of death. Krishna says think of him every moment. If we think of him every moment, then only we'll be able to remember him at the time of death. Okay, some say, okay, this is not our age to do remember Krishna. Now, okay, even if we do it, then what is the guarantee that we would remember at the time of death? Krishna says, if my devotee remembers me, and by chance, if he is not able to remember me at the time of death, Krishna takes care of him. So that is what Krishna promises. So how do we achieve this? How can we achieve and how can we ensure that we would remember Krishna at the time of death? So this can be done by practicing mind control. We have so many desires in our mind, and to fulfill those desires, we do our materialistic activities. Okay, now, for example, like you must have seen the celebrities, they are always engaged in name, fame, and wealth, always after that. So what will happen to them? They are after the money, they will get the name, fame, and again they will remember the wealth, and again they will take a birth in a family, rich family, where they will again start from where they left. Okay, same way, like if there's a meat person who is doing a meat business, his main profession is cutting animals. So what he will remember? Okay, after going home, he remember, okay, how much business I did. Okay, so he cuts the animal, he kills the animal. So that's the thought going on in his mind. And accordingly, he will get dead body. So now, next is devotee. A devotee is the one who never thinks about his name or fame. He thinks how to make Krishna famous, how to spread Krishna's name all over the world. So he thinks only of Krishna and nothing else. And that devotee is, for him, it is easier to remember Krishna at the time of death. And then he goes back home, back to Godhead. Now, there are some devotees who will say, okay, they don't want liberation. We want to serve, take birth again and again, but we want to serve the devotees and spread Krishna consciousness. So Krishna fulfills that desire also. But remembering Krishna at the time of death is important. Now, for example, how we ensure that we would remember Krishna at the time of death. Now, for example, let's say we are coming to ISKCON or Bergen. We know the route. Similarly, Prabhupada has given the route to go back home, back to Godhead. And we are going on the route 80, and then we take the exit 62. Now, if at that point of time something else comes in our mind, okay, we have something else is important to us. Okay, let us take that route. So we don't take the route of temple, we take the other route. So when we miss the route, so then we have to go back again and then come back. It's another life, again another body. So this way we get stuck into the cycle of birth and death. And also, like, and we enter into 8.4 million species of life. Sometimes we take animal body. We don't know how many times we have taken the birth. So, any guesses? Since how long we are here in this universe, how long we have been taking bodies and dying? Okay. So, there have been 6 Brahmas already taken birth and died. The lifespan of each Brahma is 311 trillion years. So, and 6 Brahmas are already come and gone. So currently we are under the rule of 7th Brahma. So if you imagine 311 trillion years for each Brahma in this universe, There are billions of universe. I'm talking about this universe, meaning all the 14 planets are there in this universe, right? 311 into 6, which is 1866 trillion years have gone by. And we have still not remembered Krishna. Right? Plus, current Brahma is the seventh Brahma. And currently we are in the, which Kali Yuga is going on right now? Which one?
This is the 7th Manvanta, 28th cycle.
28th Kali Yuga and 7th Manvanta. So, one day of Brahma, how many Manvantas are there? How many Manus are there? 14 Manus, right? So, one day of Brahma has 14 Manu. And what is the lifespan of each Manu?
71 cycles.
Yeah, 71 Divya Yuga. And each Divya Yuga is 4 Yugas.
4.32
Yeah,
million.
4.32 million. So that is the lifespan of Manu. So 14 Manus in the day of Brahma. So imagine 1800 trillion years we have not remembered Krishna at the time of our death. So we have to make sure that we remember Krishna. Otherwise, this will go on it is never ending, and we will keep going taking bodies after bodies and bodies, no matter what, like it will never end. We need to put a stop. Now, how do we need to put a stop? Now, example, we have 24 hours in a day, right? How many hours we chant? We chant 2 hours in the morning, and we read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. I see Mayapur Chandra Prabhu. Always whenever I am on internet, I see Prabhuji is giving class, preaching, right? So we need to invest more time in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Then only we can ensure that we would remember Krishna. Now someone will say, okay, if we do all this, who will take care of our occupation? We have no time. Okay, then if you don't have time, Krishna says, go and take birth again. Right? Go and come back again. Go back. Krishna is crying for us. Come back, my son. Come back, my son. Please come back. But we say, okay, we have no time. Why? We have families to take care. Now, do you think if we not think of Krishna and if we think of Krishna, he will not take care of us? We know all of these. Krishna takes care of every devotee who does any small service to him. Krishna never forgets. Sudama was such a devotee, like in spite of being in poverty, he never complained to Krishna that you are not giving me anything, you are not giving me food. So now what to speak of us? If we are in that state, just imagine what we will say. Okay, कृष्णा आपके लिए इतना किया, इतनी भक्ति की, फिर भी आप हमको नहीं देते हो, ये मुझे नहीं करना. Sudama regularly chanted the name of the Lord in spite of being in poverty. And that's what Krishna remembered. When he was going to Dwarika, he was not going to Dwarika on his own will. On his wife's request, he went to Dwarika. When Krishna came to know that Sudama is coming to meet him, Krishna stopped eating. Well, he said, my devotee is not eating, how can I eat? When Rukmini served the prasadam to Krishna, Krishna was not eating. He said, my friend is coming, मेरा सखा आ रहा है, मैं उसके लिए वेट करूँगा. So, when Sudama reached Dwarika, the Dwarpal did not allow him to enter. He said, then they asked Sudama, who are you? Sudama said, I am Krishna's friend. Oh, you are Krishna's friend? Ha 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 ha. So they started laughing. So they started making fun of him. Then Sudama said, now what to do? And suddenly Akrura came and he told the Dwarpal that give the message to Sudama, that give the message to Krishna that Sudama is waiting. So Dwarpal went inside. Now see how when devotee remembers Krishna, how Krishna reciprocates. The moment Krishna heard that Sudama is here, वो अपनी सुध बुध खो बैठा. He started running towards the gate. Sudama, Sudama, and Sudama came bare feet to meet him. So Krishna knew that, and Krishna also went barefoot to meet his friend. And while Sudama was waiting there, it took a little long for Krishna to come. So Sudama thought, okay, Krishna is not going to come, and then he started walking back. So when Krishna reached the gate, he asked the gatekeepers, where is Sudama? They said he's left. Krishna didn't even think, okay, I'm a king. Why should I go? Just because Sudama was his very dear friend, although he was in poverty, Krishna didn't mind about his position. He ran to search for Sudama, and then he was asking other people, where is Sudama? Sudama aage gaya hai. He ran, and finally got hold of Sudama. And then when he saw Sudama, Krishna said, Sudama, Sudama. And Sudama said, Krishna, Krishna. And they hugged each other. On this, Prabhupada said, भगवान को भक्तों के लिए प्रकृति का नियम बदलते देखा, खुद का मान टल जाए भक्त का मान न टलते देखा. Now Krishna wanted to show the world that no matter how rich or poor one is, one must treat equal to everyone. Krishna ने बोला कि I would, even it my reputation goes, I don't care. Even if people laugh on me, I don't care. But my devotee's reputation is more important to me than my reputation. And finally, you all know, he built a palace, big as is, for Sudama. And not only for Sudama, he built it for the other devotees in Sudama Nagari, near Porbandar. Because that was his wife's ask, because their family was dependent on other families when they were in poverty. So this is how Krishna reciprocates. Sometimes we think, okay, काम वाम छोड़ के भक्ति करेंगे तो क्या खाएंगे, क्या पिएंगे, बच्चों का एजुकेशन कौन करेगा, right? But we should not worry. We have seen it. Okay, we know devotees practice Krishna consciousness, but when we reflect on the Shastras, when we read the Shastras, we should have the faith. Even if I don't do anything, Krishna will take care. आज तक ऐसा नहीं हुआ, हिस्ट्री में नहीं हुआ कि Krishna has not taken care of any devotee and a devotee has fallen down. Do you know anyone? No, there is no one, right? No, as we saw, Bharat Maharaj, the son of Rishabdev, the emperor of the world, he went for tapasya alone and fell into the combustion of a deer and became a deer in the next life. He was not an ordinary devotee. He was practicing devotional service very strongly. But whatever you may call a destiny or just a matter of time that he saw a deer, baby deer falling into the river, and he got compassionate and he took care of it. And after he caught the deer, he forgot his devotional service. And that's why he had to, at the end of his life, he remembered the deer. So the consciousness is carried with the transmigration of the soul. The soul gets into the next body based on our thought at the time of death. And Bharat Maharaj became a deer. So even in the body of a deer, because he was a true devotee of the Lord, he remembered that his past life. So now what he was missing? Importance of association. So there was no association for him. Like when we do kirtan here, we do in devotee association. So even if one devotee is trying to move away from Krishna, the other devotees pull that devotee back. So in that case, that time there was no one to pull him back to Krishna consciousness. So Bhagavad Gita in this yuga, the practical way to practice Bhagavad Gita and to practice bhakti is through bhakti yoga, and that is devotee association, which requires chanting and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, King Puranjan, he gave up his body while remembering his wife, and consequently in next life he became a very beautiful and well situated woman. He took his next birth as a daughter of King Vidarbha in the very house of a king. So see here also another example. So here we see whatever we remember, our next body is whatever is we are in the state of mind, right? So this has been, we are in the same boat like King Puranjan or King Bharat. So now we have to think, how do we get out of this material world? You won't get whatever Prabhupada has given us. This is more than enough to exit this material world, right? But only if we follow with sincerity, then only we can attain the love of Godhead. Now how can we do it? We need to control our mind. Our mind wanders in different directions. We see so many things. Okay, Tesla car has come. Okay, let's buy a Tesla. Okay, we see new iPhone 15, 16. Okay, I need to buy it. We need to think, do we really need this much? Whatever Krishna has given us, is it not enough? Is it not enough? We are getting stuck in the material world and all these material things, and we don't want to get out of it. Then Krishna says, so be it. Tatastu. That is what Krishna says. Aapko nahi chahiye. I cannot do it, right? So we must analyze how we should utilize our time. Okay. Now even if you have a phone, right? How many hours we sit on the phone? Some people may sit 3 hours, 4 hours. Now we must see how best we can make use of that phone. Instead of going on the YouTube or Facebook, right? We must read about Krishna. Read the Shastras, Bhagavad Gita. Like, we need to put our work, whatever we are working, in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada said, work in Krishna consciousness. Okay, when we are traveling in the train, we use the phone to read Srimad Bhagavatam or chant. Okay, they are not traveling by train, they are going by car. So they can listen to the kirtans, they can listen to the lectures while in the office. So normally what I do, I order these Bhagavatam sets and lot of Bhagavatam sets and small books, and I put it in my car. So whenever I go for the meeting, I give them, whether they would read or not, but sometimes some point or the other they would read it. So I give them. Then they'll okay. Then they ask, okay, then I explain, this is Bhagavad Gita, this is Bhagavatam. Carry the books with you all the time. Okay. So mind control, like here, like Arjuna was on the battlefield. He didn't wanted to kill his near and dear ones. When Krishna told him, Arjuna told him that I cannot do it. I can control the wind, but not my mind. So he said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavad dridam tasyaham nigraham manye Vayur eva sudushkritam. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Krishna, to subdue it, I think it is more difficult than controlling the wind. Now, how can one control the mind? By practicing detachment. As we see, detachment means if you like something, okay, or if you have something, right? You have a big house. You have a big house. So how can we make use of that house? We should not get attached to it. You do kirtan on a regular basis. You invite devotees, serve them prasadam. This way you remember Krishna. Otherwise, what will happen? It will become a object of sense enjoyment if we don't use it for Krishna. Similarly, everything we have, our house, our car, or anything we have, use it in Krishna service. Seek for the opportunity. How can we use this in Krishna's service? Then only at the end of life we'll be able to remember Krishna. Now there was this Prabhu during Prabhupada's time called Jayanand Prabhu. He was in San Francisco. So he used to arrange the Rath Yatras for Srila Prabhupada. He used to build the Rath, the chariot for Srila Prabhupada, and used to do book distribution. Lot of work. And he used to drive a cab. He was a cab driver. Now, one point of time, he told Prabhupada that I no longer want to work. I just want to renounce everything and give it back to Krishna. I renounce everything and come here and serve. So Srila Prabhupada said to Jayanand Prabhu, you don't have to renounce everything to get into Krishna consciousness. Do whatever you are doing and use the fruits of your action in Krishna's service. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, do whatever you have as an offering to me, surrender to me, I will take care of you. So same thing Srila Prabhupada told Jayanand Prabhu. And Jayanand Prabhu followed Srila Prabhupada's instruction, and he whatever money he used to get by riding the cab, he used to come and give it to Srila Prabhupada. How we should also practice? First of all, like we watch movies, right? 3 hours. Okay, we are watching movies. We sometimes go in restaurants, right? When you go to movies or you go to restaurants, 3 times, if you're watching movie, watch something which is Krishna consciousness, which teaches you something about Krishna. Don't go for Hollywood movies or Bollywood movies. What will come in the head of our mind? Okay, Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan. We see how many people are there following Amitabh Bachchan and follow Shah Rukh Khan. Some devotees went to an extent of building a temple for Amitabh Bachchan. You Google that, you will see. And there are shlokas on Amitabh Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan Ashtakam. What to say? So that people are so crazy. They do that. I mean, you will Google it. Okay. So now to control the mind, we need to practice detachment. It doesn't mean, you don't have to buy all these. Prabhupada doesn't say, or Krishna doesn't say, don't buy a house or don't buy a car or don't do anything. Krishna says you cannot survive without doing your karma. Do that karma, but remembering me in mind and giving it in his service. Now we think, हम बच्चों के लिए जमा कर रहे हैं, इतना पैसा, ठीक है, वो बोल रहे हैं हमारे साथ पुष्टि खाएंगे. People go to an extent of earning so much, so they make arrangement for seven generations to come. Then what happens? If the generation is good, they will use it in Krishna consciousness. But what if that generation is not good? We see then even if you are in the Krishna Loka, you come down because Your descendants have not used your wealth properly. Okay. First thing, you have to earn that much. A Brahman earn that much. Only whatever is needed. We should not accumulate more than what we need. As it was mentioned, right, when Vamana Dev had come to Bali Maharaj to ask, Vamana Dev said, a Brahmin should not accumulate more than what he needs, right? Now, even if he has more, distribute it among the devotees. Make use of it in the devotional service. Use it for Krishna. Make other people devotees, right? So that is the best way. One must use our opulence in Krishna's service. It doesn't mean if you give someone, you will become more poorer. No, the more you give, the more you become, Krishna gives you. In the other day on the Bhakti Vish, I was explaining Ratan Tata, a billionaire, the richest person of the world. He had $110 billion. And what he did? He donated everything. So when they were comparing the wealth of these three richest persons, Ratan Tata, Ambani and Adani, $125 billion. Ambani, $125 billion. Net worth. Then when they came to Ratan Tata donated $115 billion. And in spite of donating this much, he was so rich. Sometimes people think, अरे हमको तो हम रास्ते पे आ जाएंगे इतना donate करेंगे तो. No. When Krishna can give it to Sudama, and if we are truly surrendered to the lotus feet of Lord, do you think Krishna will leave us like that? Right? So it will not happen. Now, our mind can be our best friend or worst enemy. Right? Krishna says, among things possessing quality, I am the primary manifestation of nature. And among the great things, I am the total material creation. Among subtle things, I am the spirit soul. And of all those things, I am the mind, which is difficult to control. Now, Krishna says, I am the mind. It is difficult to control. Now, how can you control the mind? Because if it is Krishna, it can be done through practice, detachment, and devotee association. Now, doing yoga, going in the forest is not recommended in this age. If you chant properly, you read the Bhagavatam properly, you read the Shastras properly, that will bring us liberation. Now, when you chant, we must make sure one thing. First of all, the most biggest enemy of ours is this phone. Switch off the phone. For 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 घंटा 3 घंटा आपने नहीं phone पे बात किया, nothing will go. Switch off your phone, chant. And when you chant, make sure you don't talk with other people also when you are chanting. Sometimes I do. Hare Krishna, Jai Draupadi, क्या बनाया आज? कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम वो बोलेंगे दाल चावल, अरे आज तो वड़ा पाव खाने का मन था. पर आपको पता है ना रामचंद्र प्रभु आ रहे, ऐसे कैसे दाल चावल बनाया? अच्छा नहीं पता, मुझे तो फोन किया था रामचंद्र प्रभु ने, क्या आ रहे हैं? अच्छा हमारे लिए नहीं, कम से कम उसके लिए बनाया देखो. And one time she made the vada pav, and even that time Ramchandra Prabhu was not coming. I wanted to eat it. So this is how. So we have to make ourselves, like I normally when I do realize that I'm not chanting properly at times. I'm not reading Bhagavatam properly. My focus, my mind wanders. I think, and then I try to control it, but then again it goes out of control. Then I think, okay, इसका पैसा नहीं आया, उसका पैसा नहीं आया. Then Krishna बोलेंगे, मेरा सोच रहा है कि अपने पैसे का सोच रहा है, right? So this means Krishna knows I'm doing chanting for my own selfish reason. We must think before we chant. When we approach Krishna, we must approach in a selfless mode. Selfless. We don't need to ask Krishna for anything. But when Krishna knows, okay, he's coming to me for money, then Krishna also is very smart. उसको दूसरा रास्ता दिखा देता है. धनंजय कृष्ण को यहाँ से अलग रास्ते पे भेज दो. Right? So next is following the Guru. One must follow the instruction of Guru Maharaj. By serving our spiritual master, our mind would remain under control. Because spiritual master is the one who opens the gate to the abode of the Lord. Our spiritual master is none other than but the representative of the Lord. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, to control the mind, one should beat it with shoes many times after waking up and again before going to sleep. Okay, then only you'll be, when you remind yourself, okay, I'm not doing enough, then only you will be able to progress. But the day we say, okay, I'm a best devotee, no one is like me, I'm chanting perfectly, good. Krishna will say, okay, go ahead my boy, I'll see. So Krishna also tricks his devotee. If we try to trick Krishna, Krishna सबसे बड़ा छलिया है. जब वो ले लेता है तो वो ऐसा लेता है कि फिर दुनिया देखती है, बट वो जब देता है वो ऐसा देखता है कि दुनिया हैरान हो जाती है. मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है, मेरा आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है, करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है, करते हो तुम कन्हैया मेरा नाम हो रहा है. We should always, whenever we are on the mode of success, we should say, Krishna, it is because of you. Who are we? We are beggars in front of Krishna. If we think that way, we are beggars, then only we will receive Krishna's mercy. If we think we are opulent, we are rich, Krishna को हमको गरीब बनाने में टाइम नहीं लगता है. Right? Krishna can take things like this away. So I would also talk next because time is running short. Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned about the 5 devotional services: Sadhu Sang, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, Mathura Vas, Sri Murte, and Shraddha Sevana. One should be associating with devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, reside at Mathura, and worship the deity with faith and veneration. Now, what is the power of holy name? Now, how the holy name would deliver us? Patitas kalito bhagna sandastastata ahata hariritya avaisena pumarnar hariyatana. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of accidental misfortune, such as falling from the top of the house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being infected with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter a hellish life, even though he is sinful. The holy name is so powerful. Even we chant time, even once accidentally, Krishna remembers that. Okay. So yesterday was Makar Sankranti, and that is the day when Bhishma Pitama left his body. Now this is a very auspicious day when the sun enters into the northern hemisphere. So Makar Sankranti starts from yesterday onto the next 6 months. And whatever devotional service you do towards Krishna during this period of time, you get lot of benefit. So before going into Bhishma Dev's prayer, there is a story from Mahabharata. When the Mahabharata war was going on, right? The 8 days of the war was over. And no one was Pandava was killed. Then Duryodhan reached out to Bhishma Pitama, saying, Pitama, आज 8 दिन हो गया है, आपने तो किसी को भी नहीं मारा है, आपकी तो इतनी शक्ति है कि तो आप तो एक दिन में वॉर खत्म कर सकते थे, फिर भी आपने पांडवों को नहीं मारा है। तो मुझे शक है कि आप पांडवों को नहीं मारना चाहते, बल्कि आप हमको हराना चाहते हो। Then Bhishma Pitama told him, "Don't blame me like this. I'm a true warrior, and when I do it, I mean it, and I do it." So then he said, "नहीं, आप ऐसे नहीं कर रहे हो, आप पांडवों को जिताना चाहते हो." Then Bhishma Pitama took a vow. Tomorrow, either all the Pandavas will be killed, or Krishna will break his promise. Then Duryodhan started celebrating. But then he said, Krishna break his promise. So Duryodhan said, no, how will Krishna break his promise? Krishna has already promised that he will not fight the war. So Bhishma Pitama said, okay, वो कल देखा जाएगा. So when Krishna heard this news, he went to the Pandavas. अर्जुन, भीम, युधिष्ठिर, क्या कर रहे हो? आप लोग सो रहे हो? आपने सुना नहीं कि भीष्म पितामह ने प्रतिज्ञा ली है कि कल सब पांडवों को मार देंगे, आप सब मारे जाओगे. तो अर्जुन सेड, कृष्णा हमको सोने दो, और वैसे भी मारे जाएंगे तो मारे जाएंगे, हमको क्या फर्क पड़ता है. मारे गए, ठीक है, मारे जाएंगे, और हमारी तो औकात ही नहीं है भीष्म पितामह के साथ लड़ने की, आप तो जानते ही हो. नहीं बट आप मारे जाएंगे, हमको कुछ तो करना है. कृष्णा आपकी आप जानो, हम चाहे मारे जाएं या चाहे जीते, वो आपका फैसला है, हमें तो क्या. अगर हम मारे भी गए तो क्या, दुनिया यही कहेगी ना कृष्ण के भक्त थे इसलिए मारे गए बेचारे. फिर इसमें किसका नाम खराब होगा? आपका ही नाम जाएगा. दैट इज व्हाट अर्जुन टोल्ड. हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, हम इधर आए, आपने हमें वॉर कराया, हम वॉर कर रहे हैं. मैं तो वॉर करना ही नहीं चाहता था, फिर भी आपने करवाया. अभी आप जानो, आपके काम जाने, आपकी लीला जाने. दैट इज व्हाट कृष्णा he told to Krishna. Also, when Bhishma Pitama was talking to Duryodhan, he told to Duryodhan to send his wife that I will give him the boon of Akhanda Saubhagyavati, meaning one who doesn't become widow, right? So then Krishna thought, okay, अगर वो Duryodhan's wife reaches before Draupadi, then Bhishma Pitama का वचन कभी खाली नहीं जाता है. So that was for sure. Then what Krishna thought, okay, ये तो सुन नहीं रहे पांडवस तो. So he took द्रौपदी को लेके गए, उनके स्लीपर्स लिए और बोले कि अंदर जाओ, उनसे आशीर्वाद ले लो. Bhishma Pitama was meditating, and then he thought Duryodhan's wife is here. Then he said, Akhanda Saubhagyavati Bhava. And then he opened his eyes. Then to his surprise, he saw his Draupadi here. Oh my God. Then what he says? Then he went out and he says, Krishna was holding Draupadi's sleepers. Before I proceed, भगवान ने, there was one saying, भगवान अपने भक्तों के लिए क्या नहीं करते. किसी के लिए रथ चलाते हैं, किसी के झूठे भेड़ खाते हैं, किसी के यहाँ साग खाते. विदुर के घर साग खाए, दुर्योधन का मेवा त्यागा, अर्जुन का प्रेमवश रथ हाँका और द्रौपदी की चप्पल उठाई. तो भगवान अपने भक्तों के लिए प्रेमवश कुछ भी कर जाते हैं, उनके नौकर भी बन जाते हैं. But our mood when we serve Krishna, we should not be in that mood that Lord become our servant. We should always be in a mood that we always remain the servant of the Lord. Okay. So when Bhishma Pitama saw Krishna standing outside with the sleepers, then Krishna told Bhishma Pitama, पितामह, अभी आपने तो उनको द्रौपदी को तो अखंड सौभाग्यवती का वर दे दिया है, अब आपका क्या होगा? अब तो पांडव तो मारे नहीं जाएंगे, तो अभी आप क्या है, दुर्योधन का वध करोगे, किसका करोगे? तो भीष्म पितामह ने बोला, कृष्णा, मैंने तो ये वचन दे दिया था कि या तो पांडव मारे जाएंगे या तो मैं नहीं रहूंगा. अब मैंने द्रौपदी को अखंड सौभाग्य की पति दिया है, बट अभी मैं एक और प्रतिज्ञा लेता हूँ, कल के युद्ध में मैं पांडवों पे इतना प्रहार करूंगा तो आई विल अटैक हिम सो बैडली कि आप मजबूर हो जाओगे शस्त्र उठाने के लिए, और अगर आपने शस्त्र उठाया नहीं तो मैं भीष्म पितामह नहीं। So that is how when the war started, okay, Bhishma Pitama was sending arrows to Arjun one after another, and Arjun was not able to handle it. His hands were shaking. Okay, then when Krishna thought that Arjun is not able to handle the situation, and when Bhishma Pitama was shooting the arrows, not only the chariot was shaking, the entire Brahmand was shaking. That was the power of Bhishma Pitama. The Devi, Devtas in other planets, they started shaking. What's happening? So then Krishna, to protect his devotee, Arjun, and to fulfill the vow of Bhishma Pitama, he jumped out of his chariot and took some chariot wheel, and started towards Bhishma Pitama to attack him. Then Arjuna went and stopped him. Pitama, आपने वचन लिया है, आप नहीं उठाओ, आप नहीं वार करो. But Krishna said no. पर आपके वचन का क्या होगा? मुझे कोई परवाह नहीं, मैं अभी भीष्म पितामह को मारूंगा. So this was, it's not like Krishna was enemy of Bhishma Pitama, but Bhishma Pitama was a very great devotee of the Lord. Okay, and being a very great devotee of the Lord, Krishna wanted to fulfill his vow. He wanted to fulfill and show the world that if my devotee promise anything, his promise will never go in vain. He will fulfill his promise even at the cost of his own reputation. So then when Krishna picked up the chariot of the wheel of the chariot, okay, and started to beat Bhishma Pitama, then Bhishma Pitama dropped all his arrow. Krishna, अभी मैंने तो आपका वचन तोड़ दिया है, तो आप चाहे जो चाहिए करिए. Then Krishna told to Arjun, अपना गांडीव उठाओ और भीष्म पितामह पे वार करो. तो भीष्म पितामह सेड, ये कहाँ का धर्म है? मैं निहत्ता हूँ और आप मेरे पर अस्त्र उठाने को कहते हो? तो कृष्णा ने भीष्म पितामह को बोला, नो, दिस इज इन लव, नॉट इन form of enmity. This is between a devotee and the Lord. So Krishna told to Bhishma Pitama, वो आपका धर्म कहाँ गया? जब द्रौपदी को निर्वस्त्र करा जा रहा था तो आप क्या कर रहे थे? जब भीम को जहर देके कुएं में फेंका गया था तब आप कहाँ थे? जब पांडवों को लाक्षागृह में जला देने का प्रयास था तब आप कहाँ थे? तब आपका धर्म कहाँ था? Krishna said, Arjun, start Bhishma Pitama pe bhan chalao. And then Arjuna started throwing arrows at Bhishma Pitama, and then Bhishma Pitama was on the bed of arrows. So at the time of Uttarayan approach, Bhishma Pitama stopped speaking, withdrew his mind from everything else and fixed his mind and fixed his eyes wide open upon Lord Sri Krishna. He then offered his heartfelt prayers to the Lord, the object of his attraction. Lord Krishna has promised not to fight in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but because Bhishma Pitama, in order to break Krishna's promise, attacked Arjuna in a vigorous way, that Krishna was obliged to take the chariot wheel and rush towards him. Thus the Lord does not mind breaking his promise to protect Arjuna, but he also fulfilled Bhishma Pitama's vow. Okay. So now we will do some stuti of Bhishma Pitama, maybe another 5 minutes, few verses, and then we will stop. Ram Prabhu, internet.
You need internet?
Uh-huh. Thank you. Okay, I will recite, and after that you recite, right? Huh? Devotee is not being there? Shri Bhishma Uvacha
Krishna Uvacha
Iti Matir Upakalpita Vetrishna
Iti Mate Upakalpita Vetrishna
Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhuni
Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhuni
Swasukam Upagate Kvachit Vihartum
Swasukham Upagate Kvachit Vihartum
Prakratim Upeyushiyat Bhava Pravaha
Prakritim Upeshyat Bhava Pravaha
Tribhuvana Kamanam
Speak the whole
Tama.
prayer.
Huh?
Speak the whole prayer, then
We'll do the translation.
Then we'll speak the whole prayer.
Yeah.
Not,
Okay.
not one by one line.
Okay. So we'll do one and then we'll do one. Tribhuvana Kamanam Tamala Varanam Ravikara Gauravaram Varam Dadane Vapura Alaka Kula Vrittana Nabjam Vijaya Sakerati me Navadya
Tribhuvanakamanam Tamadavaram Ravikara Gauravaram Dadane Vapuranaka Vrutananajam Vijaya Sakirati me
Yudhitura Gaurajo Vidumra Vishwak Kachalulitra Shramavaryalankritasye Mama Nishita Shari Viviyamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma
Yuditura Garajo Vidhumal Vishwa Sachatulut Samavaramakaritashe Mamanishta Sarira Vidhimana Vachitvilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma.
I will read two and then you read two. That way we will be like in perfection. Sapadi Saki Vacho Nishamya Madhye Nija Parayor Balayoratam Niveshya
Sapadi Saki Vacho Nishamyamade Nijaparayo
Chitavati Parasainik Kayura Akshna Kritavati Partha Sake Ratir Mamastu
Chitavati Parasainik Kayura Hitavati Parasa Sakirati
Vyavahita Pritana Mukham Nirikshya Swajanavadat Vimukhasya Dosha Buddhya
यहहिति प्रेताणां मुखं निरीक्ष्य स्वजनवदान्योपश्यदोषभूया
कुमतिम् अराहत् आत्मविद्ययास् चरणरतिर्परमस्य तस्य मेस्तु
कुमतिमहरद आत्मविद्यायास् चरणरति परमस्य तस्य मेस्तु
स्वनिगमम् अपयमत् प्रतिज्ञं ऋतम् अधिकर्तुम् अवप्लुतो रतस्ता धृतरथचरणो भयाच्चलाद्गुर् हरिरेव हन्तुम् इभं गतोत्तरीया
चरणो ययच्छलाद्गुर् हरिरेव हन्तुमिभं गतोत्तरीया
सितविशिखाहतो विशीर्णदंसा शतज परिप्लुत आततायिनो मे
शीतविशकाहतो विशर्णदंसा शतज परिप्लुत आततीरो मे
प्रसभम् अहि अभिशर मद्वदर्थं स भवतु मे भगवान् गतिर्मुकुन्द
स भवतु मे भगवान् गतिर्मुकुन्द
विजयरथ कुटुम्ब आत्ततोत्रे धृतहयरश्मिनि च तत् श्रीक्षणीया
विजयरथा कुटुम्बातोत्रे धृतहयरश्मिनि तच्छ्रीक्षणीया
भगवती रतिरस्तु मे मुमुर्षुर्यमहि अनिरीक्ष्य हत गत स्वरूपम्
भगवती रतिरस्तु
मे मुमुर्षो यमिह निरीक्ष्य हतागत स्वरूपम्
ललित गति विलास वल्गुहास्य प्रणय निरीक्षिण कल्पितो रुमाना
ललित गति विलास वलुगहास प्रणय निरीक्षण कल्पितरो मुनाना
कृतम् अनुकृतवत्य उन्माददण्डा प्रकृतिम् अगन् किल यस्य गोपवद्वा
कृतिमनुकृत्य अनुमदनदा प्रकृतिमगन् किल यस्य गोपवद्वा
मुनिगणनृपवर्य संकुलेन्त सदसि युधिष्ठिरराजसूय येषाम्
मुनिगणनृपा वर्यसङ्कुलेनता सदिष्ठिरा राजसूयेषा
अरणम् उपापिद ईक्षणीयो मम दृशिगोचर एष अविरात्मा
उपपये ईक्षणीयो मम दृश्यगोचर एष अविरात्मा.
Now the last one. Tama imam aham ajam sarira bhajam hridi hridi dishtitam atmakalpitanam.
Tam imamahamajam sarirabhajam Hridi Hridi Dikshtitam Atmakalpitanam
Pratidrisham iva naika darkam ekam samadhi gatosmi viduta beda moha.
Pratidrishyaiva Ekam Samadhigatosmi Vidute Vedam Moha.
So with this prayer, Bhishma Pitama left his body by remembering, putting his mind and intelligence in Krishna and went to Krishna Loka. So with this I would like to end, and I apologize for taking more time. Maybe I had too much topic in that, so my apologies. And with this we will end. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. With 300 loud Hare Bol. Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Thank you so much for making understand that we have to remember Krishna at the time of death. Then only we can attain Krishna. So thank you so much. So we'll have prasadam now. So we'll not have time for